Hi everyone, my name is Brandon, and this is my mom, and this is my dad, and a few weeks ago I came out to them, and this is the tell-all. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you guys know, this is my mom, and my dad is next to the camera right now, but I am doing a Q&A today because a few of my friends and some strangers online saw my recent coming out video and they had some questions for my parents. And I know I'm really milking this coming out thing, but I swear this is the last video and then I'm gonna pivot. The first question is, when did you know? Or like, when did you start to like have a feeling that like I was queer?
We doubt ourselves thinking that. Can we start over? I was like,
That's why I don't want to be there.
let me start. Okay. I'm gonna just go my natural thing. Okay.
You value everything.
I'm not sure when I kind of knew that you might be queer because I really don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I feel like you are still the same person.
Uh-huh.
I feel like there are moments where I might think that. So I remember when you were, I think in 5th grade, I think you were in the bathroom and you were upset and I didn't know what was going on. And then I was trying to listen in. I think you were opening a drawer, so I'm thinking, well, the only thing that you could go in there to open the drawer is probably makeup. I'm thinking, but that couldn't be right. I mean, there could be anything that you were going after. I really don't know. What were you doing in the bathroom?
Yeah, I feel like, well, like, you know that, like, when I came out, I did admit to you that I was putting on makeup.
No, you said something that was in my
But
eye.
I said that I wanted to, like, paint myself as, like, a clown.
Oh, that's right.
Because, like, I was being bullied at school, and I wanted to, like, hide.
Okay.
And then I said that I got, like, hit or something, and so, like, on my eye, and that's why it was, like, looks like it was bruised or something. But yeah, I think I like was like playing around with it. I feel like I told you guys in a way that got confused.
Yeah, it wasn't something that we were, trying to figure out. It wasn't. We're just going about our day-to-day life.
You guys were busy enough.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the second question is, were you against the idea of queer people at any point in your life? You can be honest about it, and like, because you guys are like a different generation than us. And I feel like you guys had such a positive response to my coming out. So I was like curious about it, like, maybe when you were younger.
For me, I really didn't see to say, okay, I can't make friends that are queer or whatever. I don't try to label people that way and try to hang out with certain type of people. I just hang out with people that's nice, that I felt like share the same type of value. Whoever that seemed like a nice person, we have something in common to talk about. So what was the question again?
You answered it, it's fine. Dad, how about you?
We had friends, they were bisexuals or lesbian. Then they were fine. As long as, we get along.
Oh, wait, but I thought like there were some times where you guys would like make jokes and stuff.
Yes. Sometimes, you joke around about it, but in reality, we have friends, Yeah.
But like in the neighborhood that you grew up in, it was like a little more like rough. Like that's kind of like
back
your
in
generation.
The 80s, 70s, people were rough. Then people were, sometimes you joke around. Of course, you use bias, words or whatever. During that time, it's very common that, among your family, friends, sometimes, you make, jokes.
Well, I asked because like I didn't feel very safe at home sometimes.
Were you silent or were you silenced?
Also, my dad immigrated here to New York first, so that's his personality. He's very New York. The next question is, would you have reacted differently had I told you in high school?
I don't think so. Because to us, you're our son, no matter what. That doesn't change.
Even high school?
Yeah, it's unconditional love that we have for our kids.
Oh, interesting.
This is our home. We're your parents.
Yeah.
Why would we go against something that you felt that's how you see yourself?
So one of the other questions that my friend had was, what was going through your mind when I sat you down? Or when I said like, hey, can we go sit? And it became kind of like serious.
Dad can start with that first.
Huh?
He wasn't even listening.
Whatever, you were going to tell us, then we were just going to listen.
You just said nothing.
I don't know. I'm just spontaneous.
What? Okay, Mom, you go.
A couple things came to my mind. I'm like, oh no, are you dating someone seriously, or somebody's pregnant? or
Oh, wow.
you know, but then we're thinking, oh no, is he coming out of his shell? Is he gonna tell us what's going on about him?
Yeah.
So all those came into my mind.
Wow, you're such a fast thinker. All that went through your mind. Very good.
So like for you more so were in the US a lot longer. Do you feel like that really influenced like how you perceived queerness?
Start over again with the question. I don't think so, because I grew up in a very conservative family.
Lar and stuff, like they're super conservative.
They're
and
conservative.
everything.
They probably will get confused.
Yeah.
You know, so they're very old school.
So you were like kind of like that too when you were growing up, but it was more so when you got older is when you started learning it yourself.
Yeah.
So for me, the question that I got a lot was, were your parents always this accepting and open? Because I feel like people meet you guys and they're like, oh my god, you guys are so chill, you guys are so easygoing. But I think like for me, obviously like I'm really happy that my parents are really accepting and I'm really grateful for that. But I think like there were a lot of times when they would make side comments or jokes that would make me think that it wasn't okay to come out. And I think like talking to my brother as well, like we were also super confused. Like we kept saying like it could either go really well or really bad. Oftentimes they are a little more lenient every now and then, but they are very like stubborn on certain things. But again, I'm happy you guys were accepting when I did come out.
In terms of when they were young, we had to have some kind of guidelines. So that was, we were somewhat conservative. Then that was the value and the message we're trying to teach our kids. But in terms of, how they want to pursue their adulthood, then we're fine, because it's their life. They need to feel free, pursue whatever that makes them feel happy. Yeah.
I guess going into the second question, like kind of the same thing is, did you think they would react this way? And me and my brother were both very like, it could be one way or the other. So that's why in the video you saw like I was very, very nervous because I had no idea. And like I was in this hallway right here just going back and forth, and my brother was just like nudging me along. And he's like, just do it. And it's funny because my brother thought that my dad was gonna react really well, but my mom wasn't. And then I thought my mom would react really well, but my dad wouldn't. We just didn't know at all what was gonna happen. And then the last question for me was, somebody asked me, were there any negative reactions with relatives? And so I think my grandma, she's like a different generation, obviously. And I think she's a little dramatic when she found out. She was like saying that she felt faint and that she had high blood pressure. But I think she's just processing, and luckily, I live in LA. She usually lives with us, but she's in Houston right now. So the physical distance was, I think, good in the way that like I didn't have to deal with that. Yeah, so some aunts and uncles, they are very accepting, but some of them are still processing things, but they don't live in California. So there's like a physical distance boundary there. And I was like really nervous about some of my religious relatives and how they would react, but and not to like generalize religious people, but they surprisingly reacted really, really well, and they're really supportive. And I think, they're the example of how like religious people should live, like with empathy and kindness, Yeah, the only negative reaction I had was probably like my grandma, but I didn't really have to deal with it. Yeah, last question that I have is, what would you say to parents out there with kids that are queer and have just recently come out to their parents?
Let's start over this. Cut that out.
I remember in like class, like in psychology, in the textbooks, it would be like, if your hair is swirled a different way, like you're more likely to be queer and stuff. Yeah, people would be like, oh my god, let's look at Brandon's head, which is like so embarrassing. Like the teachers wouldn't say anything about it, and it would be like the kids would say it pretty loudly. Yeah, and it would be like my friends that would say it because they just thought it would be like a funny thing. Like they just don't know better. Something that like I brought up to them as well was in junior high, I looked up gay conversion therapy camps because again, like it wasn't my choice, and I was like, I need to change myself so that I'm normal.
I would tell them to be supportive. Love your kids unconditionally. It's not a choice that they could choose.
Just like what I mentioned before, as parents, we have expectations for our kids. Then sometimes, that expectation leads to control. We're trying to control, we're trying to tell them what to do. But a lot of times, if you really come to think of it, it's their lives. Then if you truly love them for who they are, then you just allow them to be free and pursue whatever they want to pursue career-wise and live a lifestyle that they're truly happy with.
Period.
What if like the parents are like, oh, me loving them means that like I want to make sure like they're normal, like they're not queer, like that's like their way of loving them.
Because that's your expectation. But that's your expectation. That's what I always want to say. As parents, we have our expectations. When you are babies, toddlers, elementary school, we're trying to provide guidelines. Once you're pursuing your adulthood, now you have freedom to choose. So if we truly love our children, then we're allowing you to live freely. So you go pursue your life, then we're just trying to be supportive. We're also exploring who you are because we're learning as we go. Because behaviors changes, your personality, everything changes. Even society, as you become an adult, you know what you want. It's your life. Then you go out, you pursue. As long as you feel happy, you feel free to be who you are.
But you would have been accepting of me even if I came out in high school, right?
Yes, it would be a shocker. It would be more of a shocker than now because I understand that you're an adult. So if you came out when you were in high school, then it would be more of a surprise. But sometimes, even parents, after a surprising event, we needed time to process and digest. And if we truly feel for our kids, eventually I would just let go. Ultimately I would just say hey, he's my son, no matter he's green, white, whatever, it's fine. Because that's not gonna change who he is. He's still a tender loving kid. Then he's basically he still pisses me off a lot of times, but at the end of the day, he's still my kid. We're humans too. Then a lot of times we need to process, we need to digest. Even though we live longer years, but we have emotions, we have psychological issues.
Yeah, there's no perfect family.
I actually have one more question too. So
I don't have any more answers. I'm getting tired.
So before I was gonna come out to you guys, I was initially going to like write up a huge text message and then send it over to you guys so that you guys could have time to like process it first, like by yourself while I'm in LA. Would you guys have rather me have done that, or are you happy that I said it in person?
Definitely in front of us, because we want to hear it from you. That's a serious thing, you know.
Well, that's the end of the Q&A. Our alarm keeps going off for some reason. Please subscribe, like, and comment. As you guys know, I quit my job, so I need all the help I can get. But yeah, I post videos every Wednesday at 3 p.m. PST. Okay, bye everyone.